everybody, and welcome right here to the MSAHA Basketball Weekly Show. This is the 12th one of this 2022-23 season. And, folks, we got a big one today. We are going to be joined later on by Coach Mike Rasberry of the Meridian Flyers. They came off of a good go there in Monroe, and so we're going to talk to him about that and some other things as well. That will be coming up later on in the show. But right now, we're going to bring up our co-host, Ollie Hammonds. Ollie, man, thank you for joining us once again.
Hey, man, I'm enjoying the ride. Got the last few episodes of the season, and then sadly, I'll be out of here. I'm a senior, but I'm glad that my whole career here, we have been the top-rated sports show on TSJW Network. You know,
absolutely, man.
Number
one
every week, man.
I'm telling you, we're dominating, man. We're dominating the ratings,
That's
man.
Right.
Blowing it out
That's
of the
right.
park. Well, anyway, man. So we're gonna talk about some games from this last week, and we're gonna get to the Monroe games. We're gonna start off with the games that weren't Monroe from the last week. So Hattiesburg Foreigners and the Jackson Victors faced off in Jackson. Well, as a matter of fact, in Ridgeland to be more specific, at Sunnybrook, and the Hattiesburg Foreigners got the win, 34-25, but a 9-point game. It was a close one there. It was a good one, and I actually was there for that one. I called the 18U game, but I was there watching the 16U game. It was a very good game. The Jackson with some young players that are up and coming young players there for the Victors, but Hattiesburg able to hold them off.
Yeah, Trellis, that night you really did show how much you actually do like me, and you chose to go broadcast the Hattiesburg-Jackson game and didn't come to Scott County to broadcast our game. But, I guess I now know where we stand.
Oh,
but, that's a great performance by Jackson coming into tournament time, facing Hattiesburg, who's a really, really, really good 16U team, right? We've talked about how they've been really, really good this season, and this season has kind of been Hattiesburg's always been in it, but this season's kind of been one where in a couple of the realms they've really become, competitors for a championship. So that's Hattiesburg getting a win is always good, but that's one of them games where you kind of feel like both teams walked away feeling good. Hattiesburg felt good they got a win, but Jackson has a little bit of hope coming into the tournament.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm telling you, definitely some hope coming into the tournament for Jackson. They will be playing PCA in the first round as the 7 seed against the 2 seeds. That's going to be tough. But at the same time, look, Jackson, they put up a good fight. You got some good players. I mean, you got some of these guys. You got Ray Ware, you got Andy Miller. I mean, some of these young guys getting in there. Thomas Nicholson as well, getting in there, man, doing some damage. I mean, they're getting good 18U minutes, and so they're getting better, and then it shows there in the 16U games for sure. So now we're going to move to some 18U boys action. That's not Monroe, of course. The Jackson Victors defeating the Scott County Flames by a score of 55-45. That was a 10-point ball game. Jackson getting the win. It was actually the Victors senior night. They played against Scott County there, and they're able to take the 10-point win. And thing about it is that kept Jackson in that 4 spot. They've been battling here right there in that 4 spot. They were 4-5 before the ball game, made them 5-5 after that ball game. They're able to go ahead and defeat the Scott County Flames there. Then another game involving Scott County. They took another loss to Laurel this time at home in Forest, 80-72. High-scoring game. I imagine that was a pretty entertaining ball game because 80-72, that's a high score there.
Yeah, so our game against Scott County in Scott County, what happened there was I'm going to try to be very, very unbiased here about the refs, but we were in the bonus with 2 minutes left in the first quarter. So a lot of free throws shot in that game. I think my friend and our point guard, Caleb Blankenship, was talking to me after the game. He said, I think I got 20 points off of just free throws. And he's probably not far off. I mean, he shot about 40 free throws the other night. So, that's how we got that high score. But, I mean, anytime a team puts up 80 points, I felt really proud of our guys for putting up 80 points. Man, Scott County did their darndest, man. I mean, Cole Mitchell, Scott County, Cole Mitchell was, I mean, he balled out, right? he played great. He put up in the 20s. I mean, he's and for a minute there, I was like, he's single-handedly about to beat us. But at the end of the game, 4 of Scott County's 5 starting players fouled out, and that's what. Yeah, 7 players fouled out in that game. So if that has anything to say about the refs, there you go.
That was a tight game.
Yeah,
Tight. They were
yeah.
tight listener.
And so, just a hard fought game down to the end. And it wasn't until like the last couple possessions that we knew the outcome of the game. So a great game, fun game, and a
Yeah.
great game to get a win for us in the standings wise. That kept us in that 5 seed. Because if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, if we would have lost Scott County would have taken the 5 seed. Am I correct
They
in
would have.
saying,
They
or would
would
it
have.
have mattered how much they would have beat? Anyways, but the win would have sealed the 5 seed for us. Wouldn't have left up to differential. So
Yeah.
feels really good for us. We got a couple more games left, but yeah, that was a feel good win.
Absolutely, and yes, that solidified you guys in the 5 seed there. You guys will be looking at a 5 or 4, as you guys are 4-6, and Jackson is 5-6. Now, it comes down to these things here at the end of the season. We'll have to see how it all shakes out, but we're pretty sure of all the matchups here, because whether you guys are for Jackson's or Jackson's for, it's still going to be
color of jersey. Yeah,
it's just color of jersey here. We have Hattiesburg, Scott County as a first round matchup, Muddy River, Meridian, and we got Jackson and Laurel. So that's it's already gotten shaken out now. But then another game we have was the Hattiesburg Forerunners and the Jackson Victors, and so I just kind of gave it away. Jackson lost that ball game to fall to 5-6 in conference, but Hattiesburg defeating them by 6 points. We streamed that one live on the TSW Network. We had a few issues with the stream, but the full game is uploaded with the broadcast and all MSAHA primetime production right there on the TSJW Network. So go check that out if you want to see that game. It's a very exciting ball game. But the Hattiesburg Forerunners took the win, 54-48, and this was a good ball game. Jude Williams shot the lights out, had 23 points on 6 3-pointers. Hit 6 3-pointers and went 5 for 6 from the free throw line. That made his 23. He had a great game, but Bradley Kelly down the stretch, big there for Hattiesburg. Big for Hattiesburg. He had 19 points in the ball game, but it was like 10 there in that fourth quarter, and that really sealed the deal for Hattiesburg, as they had to play well to close them out down the stretch. It was a close ball game.
Yeah, I mean Bradley Kelly, he's got so many threats to his game, right? He's big, he can get down low, but he's got some great ball handling skills, and he's a great shooter. Free throw shooting is really, really clutch. He's a really, really clutch free throw shooter as well. So that's another threat that, I mean, you can never underestimate the power of free throws, right? And so you can win or lose a ball game on the stripe. So he just played an all around great game. Like you said, Jude Williams did his darndest, right? I was talking about Cole Mitchell with us. Jude Williams did his darndest to win that ball game. And I mean, Jackson's such a good team. We're talking about seeding and all that kind of stuff. Jackson's not an easy draw for us in the first round of the tournament, right?
No.
So this boys division, one that kind of midway through the season looked like just a 2-horse race, has really turned into kind of a really, really competitive, division this HNU boys has down the stretch. So tournament time is going to be really, really fun, because you got a lot of high scoring offenses in the tournament, right? Hattiesburg's going to score a lot of points. That was a big deal for Jackson to keep them, to 54 points, because Hattiesburg's one of them teams that they're pretty explosive offense. What do you want to say?
Well, Hattiesburg's got a good offense, but I will say they are kind of known for holding the other team to low points.
That's true. Yeah. That's true. But I mean, so then you would say, in my opinion, Hattiesburg's one of its biggest strengths, you're right, is holding people to low points, but it's them scoring a ton of points, right, to blow you out. So I think you're right, though. It's an all-round win for Jackson mentally. A game that, when you look at the seedings, I know they're 3-4, but Hattiesburg was the clear favorites coming into this game.
Absolutely.
But for Jackson, and it was kind of that late game push that made it this close. And that's what you need. That's what you need coming into the tournament, right? Is that just consistency in the fourth quarter, not dropping off, and if anything, accelerating in the fourth quarter. You can come back, and that's a big deal with the tournament too, because if you're playing well in the fourth quarter this late in January, that means your team's got some good stamina. And that's one thing about Jackson. They do not wear down easy. They have great stamina. That team's very in shape, and they play really, really well at the end of the game, just as good as they did at the beginning of the game. So that's a big deal for them coming in the tournament.
Yeah, and they are tied for the most games played in the MSAHA. They've played 28 games.
Yeah, I was seeing that this morning.
Yeah, and so just like you're saying, I mean, and then you get these guys, just like I was talking about, those guys, the younger guys like Ray Ware and Thomas Nicholson, Andy Miller. Those guys get a lot of 18U minutes too, and they're playing 16U. And then like Ray and Thomas, they play 14U as well. So you're talking about a lot of playing, a lot of games, a lot of minutes,
and a lot of improvements throughout the season.
Absolutely.
Jackson lost to Scott County early on in the season.
Yeah.
And then they beat him by 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a big deal for Jackson. The fact that they're starting to see results. It's kind of like us, early season, mid season was really, really tough for both Jackson and us. But this kind of like late season, it's all starting to come together. And every coach always talks about what the true goal is. True goal is not regular season record. It's that gold ball, right? It's that tournament. It's that 4 games in the tournament where you want to be the last team to walk away with the W at the end of the season. And you need that late season push that Jackson's getting right now. And you're seeing marked improvement, and you're seeing young players that are willing to that are able to play a full game. It's crazy what a season. We play the regular season for a reason. It's to get that practice for the tournament, and you're seeing Jackson's a clear example of that. They are improving and improving and improving, and they're feeling really good coming in the tournament.
Absolutely. And so now we're going to get into some action from the Gulf Coast District Tournament in Monroe, going into some 16U action, starting off with the top team in the 16U district, the PCA Paladins, winning the district tournament. So they're able to get that win. They're the number 2 seed in the MSAHA right now, with the Counselors being number 1. PCA able to win the district tournament. And they beat the Little Rock Flames on the way there, defeated a lot of good teams. And they were able to take that gold ball there to win the district. Very impressive. A very good representation of the MSAHA there as well.
Yeah. I mean, so we got a 16U team that won, and when you start looking at all the 18U teams that went to the tournament for the boys, I know I'm probably getting ahead of our conversation. That's 1, 2, 3. That's 4 teams in the top 10, right? That's
absolutely
that's pretty good representation. But yeah, PCA 16U. They've really had a stellar year in the boys' realm. And I mean, you're just starting to see tournament wins and things of that nature. The thing that's going to be interesting is the PCA Muddy River games were played kind of early in the season. When I say I mean pretty early in the season. So it is going to be interesting because somehow, some way, their 16U teams are going to match up in the tournament. It's going to be interesting to see what the matchup is now with both teams. You could say, as good as they're going to get this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And and that's not all negative. That's like they're all the way at the top, right? So let's see what both teams at full strength will be like. And I'm really, really interested to see that. But yeah, I mean, congratulations to PCA. We talked about it before we left, and I didn't get the chance to go to Monroe. But it's always great, these out-of-state tournaments and things of that nature, where you can kind of separate from – I can separate from my Nighthawks fandom. You can separate from the Counselors fandom, and you can root for PCA because they're in your conference, and you want that great representation from the MSAHA. And PCA really does a great job with representing our conference, out of state tournaments and things like that. So congratulations to them for the 16U championship.
Absolutely. But this sets the stage for that face-off that we're probably going to see between the PCA Paladins and the Muddy River Counselors, even though I bet you those Laurel Nighthawk 16U boys want to spoil the party of that. They want to be involved in that because those guys have been making a big-time push here late in the season. But if we do get the Counselors Paladins championship game, that'll be something else with PCA winning the district and the Counselors being undefeated, all put together. That'll be something else. That is exciting. Now, if we go down the list, the Jackson Victors and the Tupelo Titans are involved in the 16U boys as well. Kind of had some struggles. Tupelo was not able to win a game. Jackson did win a game, but it was against Tupelo, so they kind of had some good 16U teams there. You had the Chef Patriots, you had the Little Rock Flames, you had plenty of teams. I think Saline County brought a pretty good 16U team, if I'm not mistaken. And so, some good 16U teams showed up there. So, nothing to be ashamed of there.
Oh yeah.
18U girls, the Laurel Lady Hawks, 2-2. 2-2, folks. That tournament had some good teams in it. The Tyler Heat, I had never seen a high school girls team that good. The Tyler Heat, very good team. But then, of course, Laurel dropped a close one there to Saline County as well. Meridian went 1-3, and Hattiesburg 0-4. And unfortunately for Hattiesburg, Anna Kate Hudson, one of their top players, if not their top player, goes down with a season-ending injury. And she went down with that injury against PCA, I believe, before this tournament. She did not play. Hattiesburg trying to regroup and figure out what they're going to do without her.
Yeah, absolutely. And Hattiesburg's coach going to have to do is, this late in the season, that's really, really unfortunate. I mean, I just can't think of another word, right? If you could think of a definition of the word unfortunate when you flip in the dictionary, it should have this situation explained. It's just, and so Hattiesburg's girls coach is going to have to do what the coach we're about to talk to had to do preseason, right?
Exactly.
Losing a very, very key player. You just have to readjust, man. You just have to readjust. And that's where these great coaches that we've got in our girls realm really shine, because 75% of coaching is preseason. So that when in-season things like this happens, you can make the adjustment really quickly because you believe in what you taught them early on in the season, right? In preseason. So it's really going to be interesting to see how Hattiesburg treats that situation coming into the tournament, because we got a lot of teams winding down regular season. So really, we're not going to get to see Hattiesburg till the tournament. So they're going to have to make in-tournament decisions for that rotation. But yeah, great showing by our girls. Laurel, I think that's the first time in like 3 years Laurel's had a 500 record, right? So pretty crazy. Meridian scoring a win. Meridian's having a just this girls division so interesting to me, because it's like, it's very, very wide open. It's just wide open. And I'm really excited to see and I know I say that a lot. I'm excited to see what happens to the tournament. I genuinely am excited to see how this bracket shakes out for the girls, because I haven't really tried to call anything because I don't know, man. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
Absolutely. And, we'll see in the tournament. Hattiesburg going to be playing against Mount Zion in that first round. Of course, we're going to get into this more next week. Next week's show is going to be the day before the tournament. And basically all we're going to do is preview the tournament and just talk about the tournament. We'll probably also talk about 14U tournament as well. We're probably going to talk about a little 14U later on in this show. But anyway, we're going to get into that more next week. But Hattiesburg, Mount Zion, those girls are going to take the physicality to them, especially without the big girl inside. Without one of the big girls inside. Hattiesburg does have another one. But anyway, going into some 18U boys stuff at Monroe, PCA finished second in the championship game. They were against the Little Rock Flames. Little Rock Flames ended up winning. And if I'm not mistaken, I heard about this. I was not able to see the game because I was calling another game. I wasn't able to see the middle of the game. I saw the end. But if I'm not mistaken, what I heard was that PCA was up 9, and then Collier Waldman had some cramping going on. They had to sit out for a little bit, and then Little Rock started to wear in and get closer, and then they end up overtaking the lead and winning the ball game. But it's a 6-point game, man. Little Rock's a great team. Ranked nationally. Lost by 6 in the championship game. PCA did, and PCA's dealt with some injuries, and they're able to push through with that. So very impressive there by PCA. The Muddy River Counselors finishing 5th with a 3-1 record. Their only loss was to the Tyler Heat, ranked 22nd nationally. So the Muddy River Counselors had a good showing. They were able to defeat the Chef Patriots, who started off the season 18-0, or 26-4 heading into that game. That was a good win for them. Hattiesburg impressed. They impressed. They knocked off the Faulkner Falcons, who were the number 5 seed when they were the number 8. Hattiesburg overachieved, finishing 6th in the tournament. Laurel finished 9th, though, but they went 3-1. They lost to the Tyler Heat, but then won 3 in a row. Jackson went 1-3, but they got their win over Meridian, but they had some battles as well. And then Meridian finishing 2-2, and that was something we're going to talk to Coach just in a few moments. And their team finished it off winning the last 2 games, defeating the CHA Flame and the Saline County Warriors. And so we're going to talk to him. Matter of fact, we're about to go to him right now. And so, Coach, thank you for joining us. This is Coach Mike Rasberry of the Meridian Flyers. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Good to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And so my first question is Coach, you had some injuries this year. You had some injuries to Cooper Franklin. Also ended up having an injury to Hasten Caldwell in his ankle there early in the season as well. They're both back now, but during that period of time, you took some bumps, you took some losses and stuff. But I would say I feel comfortable to say that those other guys were improving over the time without those guys. So how much did these other guys improve over the time that you had some injuries to some of your top players?
Well, our issues while we had these injuries dealt with some off-court problems, and we had to deal with those things, and it put an awful lot of pressure on our young guys because I can't say enough about Peyton Mitchell, who has been glue for our team. He's the guy that you can bang around and knock down and bump on, and he just continues to be there. He shows up. He's got a motor that never slows down, and but all of the other guys have come along, and our young guys. See, we only have 3 players that don't qualify for 16U. And so all of our players are very, very young. In fact, half of our varsity is 14U. So we are extremely young, but not having Hasten in there. Hasten is such a force in the middle, and he's strong. And he has really developed over the last 3 years. Hasten has become a complete ball player who understands the game and sees the court, and he helps the team defensively. Not having him in there was a tremendous problem for us. And Cooper out hurt us because Cooper was developing into our shooter. When we lost Elliott Tulip, we didn't have a shooter. And so that limits your driving. That limits everything that you do. It shuts down your inside game if you don't have an outside game. Mm-hmm. And Cooper was the one that we were looking to develop into that outside shooter role. And when he went down, that set us back a great deal. And so we just had to plug through. We just had to struggle through. And the important thing is that our guys never lost their enthusiasm. They never gave up. They never quit fighting. They fought from tip off to the buzzer. They fought the whole time they were on the court. And that's the big thing about teams that have injuries. You just have to fight. And you know, defense, when you don't have an offense, your defense has to step up. And so we emphasized, I'm a defensive-minded coach, and our defense has really come along over the last 2 or 3 months. And when you're not scoring much, you have to have that defensive mindset, and you have to play. On every play, you have to be aware. You have to be alert. You have to see what's going on. And all of our guys have bought in to being defensive players, from our 12-year-old to our 18-year-old. They've all bought in playing defense.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. I think, Ollie, you got you a question there?
Yeah, Coach. First off, thank you for coming on, giving us your time. I just got to say, every time we play you guys, it always feels like Laurel here. You know, I know we got the TV show and everything, and you know we're a bigger town than Hickory is, but it always feels like we relate to you guys a lot because we're a bunch of country boys. You know, we got country strong. You know, so we love playing you guys. But And that's all a testament to you and the attitude that you bring to your team and the culture that you guys have there. It's very, very refreshing to get to play you guys. So just wanted to say that. But my first question for you is, this offseason, it was really, really sudden, Elliott Tulip's departure, for I know at least for me and Trellis, but
Yeah.
As a coach, how did you prepare your players? We've lost our superstar, and if you've I don't know if you've watched the show. Me and Trellis really regard, if we had to have an MVP vote last season, it was Elliott Tulip. I mean, he was just, in my opinion, he was the best player in the conference, right? And then you did have the best player in the conference who graduated. So how did you prepare your young guys to fill in those shoes?
Well, first of all, you cannot replace an Elliott Tulip or an Isaiah Davis. You just cannot replace them. The things they bring to the table are such that you just can't replace them. However, we play team basketball. And our idea is that we're going to, we believe that all things work together for the glory of God. Whatever God brings into our lives, it's an opportunity for us to develop and utilize what God gives us to work with. And so we, from the very beginning, we said, we're going to go with what we've got, and we're going to do the best we can, and we're going to work our hardest to try to develop and become the very best we can be with who we have. We couldn't sit around moaning over the fact that Elliott is sinking 3-pointers and dunking for Southeast Lauderdale. We hope that some scouts see him play and pick him up, and I'm looking forward to seeing him play college ball.
Absolutely.
He comes from a great family, and they were at the whole family was at one of our Saturday games recently, and we just really enjoy having them around, and they mean a great deal to our Flyers family. And we're all rooting for Elliott to really succeed in what he does. But we have to play the game that we can play with the players that we have. And the fact is that we have a lot of new guys who didn't know who Elliott was.
Yeah.
And so they didn't know what they were missing. They'd never seen him sit out there and drain threes. They'd never seen him go to the basket and make one of those ridiculous body control moves that he does.
Trust me, Coach. I saw him do that.
So we just tried to do what the best we could with who we had, and God blessed me this year with 2 really great assistant coaches, guys that are going to step up next year and lead the team. And they're not experienced coaches, but they are great Christian men who love the Lord and who have a care for these young men, and they're going to share the Lord with them, and they're going to lead them in a godly way. And so I'm excited about that. Lewis Coker and John Stewart will be leading the team, and they are extraordinary men. They're both top drawer.
Absolutely. And Coach, you alluded to this just now that you're going to be retiring as the coach of the Meridian Flyers after this season. I know that's that was tough for me to hear first, because I was like, oh man, because you've been involved in it for 6 years. You coached against me when I was playing. And so that's it's definitely gonna miss you. Gonna miss you over there. Hopefully you still show up to some games.
I plan to be at some. Maybe they'll let me sing the national anthem sometime again.
Oh yeah. Of course. So I do want to ask you about this. As you were approaching your retirement, tell us your favorite part of coaching the Meridian Flyers these last 6 years.
My favorite part of coaching the team has just been sharing my heart for the Lord with young people. I'm 76 years old, and that God has allowed me at my age to continue to be a part of young people and to touch them and to let them know that I believe that God is still doing a work in the lives of people. Now, that to me is the great joy of coaching. Uh, Wins and losses are extraordinarily good. I want to win every time I step on the court, and I hate to lose. I hate to lose at nose. I hate to lose at tiddlywinks. I hate to lose at basketball. But
Uh-huh.
I'm going to tell you that the greatest thing of all about working with these young men is seeing them uh, live out their faith on the court. Now, do they get caught up in things? Absolutely. Do they get do they make mistakes? They certainly do. But I've coached at different levels over the years and in different environments overseas and here and different states. But I've never been around a group of parents who supported the coach like these parents do. And
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about uh, negativity, and the parents straighten out the negativity. So that's a great thing. I don't have to deal with prima donna students. I don't have to deal with prima donna parents. These are parents who have they want their kids to participate in team activities and to learn the competitiveness of life, and team sports is a great way to do that. They want their kids to do that, but they want them to do it with the mindset that that's not the most important thing in life.
Absolutely. Ollie, do you have the last question there, Coach?
Yeah, Coach, and you probably already alluded to it and kind of answered my question, but just dive deeper. I mean, I'm an old head in the league, and you've been coaching as long as I've been here. And Trellis is ancient, just so you know. And you were coaching when he was in the league. So what has kept you coming back to Meridian? I mean, what has kept you doing it for so long and having the same vigor at the end as you did from the beginning?
God has blessed me. Both my wife and I are blessed with physical health. And some people will dispute this, but I still have some mental acuity. So I know that's up for debate in some circles, but and I'm able to. I still enjoy working with people and sharing the gospel. But as I get older, I also pastor a Baptist church. A couple of years ago, I stepped back from leading the horse camps and working with horses so much because I needed to focus my energy. It takes more energy for me to focus on what I do. And so I'm not able to give everything I want to give to the Flyers at this stage. Now, I've never had anybody in my family playing for the Flyers, no kinfolks. The closest I've had is that I started coming to the Flyers because a former church member asked me to come and attend a game. And then the coach asked me to help them with some things defensively. And then the coach stepped down and I was left with it. But it's been a great ride. I've enjoyed it. And I don't know of anything I've ever done that I've enjoyed more than working with these young people. And even those referees who have blinders on, who fouls on one end of the court, I've enjoyed working with them. I'm not about those glasses that they wear that flip down when they get down to our end of the court, but it's okay. Life is life, and I'm thankful. And the hardest thing this week, one of the refs came to me and said one of your players is going to get a T. He said he's showing up the refs. Well, all he's doing was saying, "Why not just call for a foul?" I mean, he got hacked across the throat, and he's almost. But we have to teach the young people, play through it. Play through the. Don't expect a foul to be called. If a foul is called, consider it a bonus. Don't expect a foul.
Yeah.
And so many times these young players right there expecting something to be given to them, but they shouldn't expect that. They should not expect and anticipate anything, and anything that comes, they need to look at it as being, wow, man, that's a blessing. I didn't expect that.
Yeah.
That's I don't know if I answered your question or not, but
no, you did, Coach. And Coach,
to be verbose,
Coach, I just want to tell you, you said you didn't really have any kinfolk. When we play you guys, you do. Your players adopt you as a father figure, and in the league, Coach, you've got a family always. In MSAHA, you've impacted the conference so positively, and we love you. We love you here in Laurel, I know, and I know Trellis and everybody in the league loves you. And Coach, you've always got. If you ever want to come back on this show, we're always open.
Well, God bless you. Thank you for letting me be a part of it, and I look forward to it. Maybe sometime when I'm not coaching, I can get there and be a color fella for all of you.
Oh, hey, Coach, I was just about to tell you, I'm gonna need to get you on my color commentator list.
Yeah, I got plenty of color here. You see, I can.
Oh, Coach, appreciate you coming on, and we look forward to seeing your team compete there at the tournament. Should be interesting for sure.
I think we've come along, and we have improved, and we've become a team, and any group that becomes a team is dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So who knows what we're going to do?
For sure. And the most dangerous thing is to have a team that lost early in the season, get good at the end, and have a low seed and play a top seed.
That's what we like.
So we'll see what happens there. But
we like for them to take us for granted.
Hey, underestimation sometimes it works well. All right, Coach, I appreciate you joining us for sure.
Good night.
Absolutely. And so, folks, that was a great interview there with Coach Mike Rasberry of the Meridian Flyers. We're going to move into next week's games, going into some 16U action. Tomorrow, we got the Meridian Flyers and the Laurel Nighthawks down in Laurel at Salem Heights Baptist Church. That will be tomorrow night in Laurel, and that should be interesting. Meridian and Laurel. Now, last time, Meridian got the win. They got the win at the buzzer for 16U. Laurel been doing very well since then. These teams, is pretty much certain that these two teams will be the first round of the MSAHA playoffs. As it is a guarantee that this will be the first round matchup, Laurel and Meridian. So you're talking about you're playing a week before you're going to play. I mean, literally a week before. You're going to actually play in the playoffs. So what's interesting about it is that you would normally in a season, you'd be like, oh, this is a big game, this is a big game. But we were just wondering, how much do you value this game at this point since seeding is set?
Yeah, there's always that. You don't want that, and I hate to use them as an example, but it's the closest one. You don't want that Hattiesburg girls team happen, right? For Laurel, you don't want somebody like Cooper Goodwin rolling an ankle in the fourth quarter of a game that really doesn't matter in seeding, right? So I think that it's a great opportunity at the end of the season. Just have fun, just have a fun game, fun atmosphere. They're those both. Don't get me wrong, both these teams are definitely going to come out looking to win this basketball game. Right? But I don't think both coaches are going to put all their chips into this one game, right? I think this is going to be a good game. It's going to be a fun game, but I don't expect it to be a hard fought, game down to the wire. So
probably gonna be close though. And this
it's going to go.
And the thing is, this is this upcoming week, this is the end of the regular season here for MSAHA. After Saturday, it will be set for all divisions, and we'll be able to put together who's going to be playing in what games. As far as I know, I think all the teams are participating in everything like that, or everything that they were already participating in to begin with. I don't think anybody's dropping off. So So that should be interesting. Hattiesburg and Mount Zion, they're taking each other on. That's going to be in Mendenhall. Hattiesburg and Mount Zion, and that is supposed to be the first round as well, and that's pretty much it. That's a guarantee set first round too. So again, we got another preview of a first round matchup: Hattiesburg Mount Zion. That should be a good one, folks.
Yeah, well, to me, this last game is really going to be key. Just going to be interesting to see how Hattiesburg going to treat it, because Hattiesburg's sort of like Muddy River, in that their 16U players also play a lot of 18U. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see how their coach is going to do it. Like you said, this is a guaranteed matchup. How's he going to treat this last game? So this is kind of the part of the season, early season. We always say you can't take too much from these scores because it's early season. End of the season is kind of the same. And when I say end of the season, I truly mean like last week of the season, not these past couple weeks. Like this week, I wouldn't buy too much into results in games like this. So, just going to be interesting to see what the score is, because the score really is going to reflect how the game was treated.
Yep. Now, this game I feel differently about. I feel like this game's going to matter a lot.
Absolutely. Now, this, you're right.
PCA and Laurel down at Salem Heights. Now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, let me look. PCA's 5-2 in the conference. Laurel's 8-4 in the conference. Now, if Laurel wins 9-4, 5-3, I don't know what the winning percentage breaks down to that. See, that's the thing. We don't play the same amount of games all the time. But I don't know how the winning percentage breaks out. But, yeah, I guess you could look at that. It's 62.5% for PCA. And then for Laurel.
Math.
For Laurel, it would be higher.
Yeah, 69%. So, yeah.
So actually, this is a seeding game. PCA is not a lock for number 2.
No.
So I did not realize that.
Judging sorry, I know I'm getting a pregame already.
Yeah.
I'm excited about this one. You're right. This is gonna be a good one. Judging on the last time Laurel played the number 1 seeded Muddy River Counselors, this is going to be a way more of a game than it was the first time. So this truly is up in the air. Now this one is one where I expect it to come down to the wire. Both teams fighting hard. So this is, and that's also the big question for Laurel playing Meridian. So now you have the idea of, well, they got to win to make it an important game. So how do they treat? It's really interesting. It's interesting. This is probably why I'm not a coach, but but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. I'll be in the gym, of course, for the Laurel PCA games. That's going to be interesting and fun.
Yeah, and of course, that'll be interesting. So that'll be in Laurel, and so that's actually a big matchup. That's actually changed the seeding there. That's the number 2 and number 3 seeds right there. Now, then we get to some 18U girls action, and I think we have So we have the Meridian Flyers and the Laurel Lady Hawks. Those two teams take each other on. That's tomorrow night. Last time the two teams played, well, actually they played each other in Monroe, and Laurel won by 20. So they won that game by 20 points over the Meridian Flyers. But the last conference game they played was an 8-point game, 37-29. But Laurel, they've had some injuries here. They've had 3 players go down with season-ending injuries, and Lillian Cranford, Lillian Bond, and Emily Taylor. Emily Taylor's injury tough. Definitely praying for her recovery as well. They're missing some players, and coming down the stretch, this gets difficult for Laurel. And I mean, look, a team that looked like were the runaway favorites, they still are the favorites, but I would say less of a runaway now, especially how PCA's been playing.
Absolutely. So, yes, it's a great opportunity for Meridian to kick a team while they're down. I hate using that statement, but it truly is. That is what it is, right? You come into a gym and take a surprise win. Laurel's the favorites here. I really do think so. But, just kind of see how the day we just, talking to Coach Sean, we were like, it's terrible. You've lost 2 players, right? And one of my questions, and now he's lost 3, so it just keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
All seniors.
So on all seniors. So it's going to be interesting to see how the rotation has changed at all. How has the rotation changed for playing time, and just how has their style changed? Has it changed at all? So the coaching staff for the Laurel Lady Hawks is so they're so good. They're so good at training fundamentals and things of that nature. So I don't think they'll be greatly affected, but it will be interesting to see how they're affected, because they will be. I mean, you don't lose 3 players and not be affected. So we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, and then we got Hattiesburg and Mount Zion, which is going to be a first-round matchup for 18U girls, Hattiesburg and Mount Zion. So we got another one. Got another preview. I guess into the season we're playing previews. Huh? Now, and just like I said earlier, that changes that matchup, because I think Hattiesburg has Mount Zion pretty well with Anna Kate Hudson, but without her, I don't know what that looks like. It's going to be a different thing. I still think Hattiesburg's the favorite, but we'll see how this score happens. This is actually a situation where I would actually take a little something from the result of this game. I'd have to see what this is going to look like.
Absolutely.
But we'll see that one. That's Hattiesburg, Mount Zion. Then you got PCA and Laurel, and that's a big one. That's the number 1, number 2 seeds. That's the game of the week here.
Oh, absolutely.
Laurel Lady Hawks, and just like we're saying, we've talked about Laurel. PCA 14-3 on the season. Very good team. They lost to Laurel the first time by 20 points, but at that point in time, Laurel's a full-strength team. And so we'll have to see what happens. Of course, it's still at Salem Heights, and, so that's definitely a good home floor there for Laurel. We'll see what happens in that one.
Yeah, I'm, of course, going to be in the gym for that one. So PCA, we're just going to have to see how much they've – because they've improved throughout the season. It's just going to be interesting to see how much they've improved, because this really is like the litmus test, right, when you face the number 1 seed. Let's see how much have you improved. So let's see. Maybe they can get a win and make this really, really interesting coming into tournament time.
Yep, and So that should definitely be interesting. That will be, that'll be a game there on Saturday. That's the last day of the season, by the way. 18U boys for regular season. 18U boys, you got Meridian and Laurel. Meridian, they've been improving. Laurel had a solid go there at Monroe, though. So, I mean, Laurel would be the favorite in this ballgame, especially at Salem Heights. But I'm sure we'll see a pretty good challenge there from Meridian, they're on a 2-game winning streak now.
Yeah, this is 2 teams that are feeling really good. I know here in Laurel, we're feeling really good going into Scott County, getting a road win. Listen, we were talking the other day about what's the toughest place to get a road win. I mean, that place is like the Twilight Zone for us, dude. Like, it's like when we go in that gym, anything bad that can happen, it goes wrong. It goes really wrong. So that was a big time win for us. And Meridian, like you said, riding really high right now. So living up to the Flyers' name, they're flying really high. So it's going to be really, really interesting. It's going to be fun to play in that game. And so it's going to be fun to be a part of and a fun environment, because we're at home, but it's going to be interesting to see how Meridian plays in an away environment, not hostile, but it's a rowdy gym. We've talked about this. It's a rowdy gym, so it's going to be interesting to see how they react. Yeah,
and then we got a PCA and Laurel, 18U boys. PCA the number 1 seed, and that is solid at this point. They're 9-0, 9-0, 24-4 overall, and they've been playing very well. Finished 2nd in the district. Laurel had a solid go. They're on a 4-game winning streak right now. They won their last 3 in Monroe and won in Scott County. Now they're playing at home against PCA again. An opportunity for them to make a run at it. And so we'll see what happens there. And I know that's your game right there.
Yeah. Hey, Trellis, by the way, you need to work on your journalism. Get it straight. We're on a 5-game win streak. We beat the Central Baptist Raiders before we went to the tournament. Okay.
So, no, but y'all lost the first game of the tournament.
Dang it.
Yep. Hey, look, my journalism.
Good. I need to work on my journalism.
Oh,
we're on a 4-game win streak, not a 5-game. I just told you, Trellis, we lost our first game of the tournament. Okay.
That's right.
Anyways, we were just talking about the litmus test, right? How much have you improved? Face the number 1 seed. It's our chance. How much have we improved throughout the season? Because we faced PCA kind of you want to talk about peaks and valleys. That was probably the lowest part of the valley, right?
Yeah.
That was a really, really tough game for us. This is really going to be a chance for us to see how much have we improved.
Yeah, for sure. And finally, our last thing we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about the 14U field. I've had some requests talk about some 14U. So we're going to talk about some 14U. The tournament has been set for February 6th in Laurel. We've got 9 teams in this field. 9. I don't know how many are competing in the conference tournament, but we got 9. Number 1, the defending champions, the Muddy River Counselors. Okay, so they are 5-0. That's beautiful.
The defending champion, Muddy River
Yes,
Counselor.
absolutely. And then number 2, PCA Paladins, who were in the championship game last year. They're 6-1 overall.
But who'd they
4-0.
lose to in the championship game?
They lost to the Muddy River Counselors, man.
What?
I'm pretty sure they did. Sure they did. Actually, It's 34-13. Yeah, I remember the score. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3, we got the Jackson Victors. Jackson Victors have had a solid. Jackson Victors have had a solid year, 5-2, 5-2 record. Then you got the Hattiesburg Forerunners, who are 3-2. They're at number 4. Number 5, Mount Zion at 4-3, and Mount Zion's been a solid team as well. Meridian 4-3, and Coach Rasberry was talking about how half his team was 14U. So Tupelo Titans are 3-3. That's Tupelo Titans are heavy in the younger. They're heavy in the younger. So they're right there at 500 there. Laurel 3-6. They've taken some bumps, taken some losses, but I think they'll be ready to go come conference time, especially hosting it there at Salem Heights. Finally, it's the Scott County Flames. Scott County Flames really young. They got some really young players, kind of small. They're at the 9, but should be interesting. We'll see what happens in the tournament. I know the counselors will be in it. PCA's in it. Laurel's in it. Meridian's in it.
Very, very, very good turnout for a 14U tournament. Very, very good. And that should be just a testament to how much our conference has grown, man. It's been, I do not have this, and I should know this, but what time do the festivities start on Monday morning? Is it Monday morning?
I do not know when I do not know. It has not been released when it actually starts. I'm assuming pretty early in the morning, considering the fact that it's a 1-day double elimination tournament. And if you get like 9 teams involved, I don't even know how you can do that, but
yeah, I remember back in my younger days, back in the day when I had to compete in them all day double elimination tournaments. Good Lord. I love getting older.
Yeah, so you can avoid that again.
Yes, sir.
Oh yeah, no. So that should be interesting. That's 14U action, and I'll tell you this: Jackson showing they've got some future. They've got some future. They got some future.
Absolutely.
We talked about it earlier. They get 18U time, but on that 14U team, you got guys like Daniel Cornelius. He's the point guard for them. Very good player, very solid player.
What a name. What a name. Am I right?
That's a good name. It's a solid sounding name.
Successful name.
Okay? Oh yeah.
Successful name in any field he embarks on, including basketball. So he's just Cornelius.
Cornelius is a good name, man. I'll tell
you. It over the PA announcer's voice.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely, man. His younger brother Caleb, he's about 11 years old. Good little. He's a little guy.
Yeah,
he's good.
And that's the mark of a good organization. When you got such a storied organization as Jackson, when you're successful, people are going to want to come play for you, right? And so when you have a bunch of turnout, and here in Laurel, we've been blessed with that, man. The amount of people. I know I was joking with Coach Rasberry. We don't have a big pool of people you would think to pull from, but people want to come play here, and it's just it's a big time blessing. And Jackson has the same blessing, man. People want to come play there, and when you have people that just want to come play, you have your future pretty well locked up.
Absolutely. And so they're at the 3 seed. That should be interesting. I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be February 6th, the Monday after the main MSAHA playoffs. We'll have the 14U boys and 14U girls as well, but we don't have much on that. They don't really play very much.
So I didn't even think I will be a retired player at that point. Wow.
I'll be
settling in my new life.
Oh yeah, you'll be retired, man. Yeah, hey, look, maybe you'll be an analyst on there, huh?
Hey, I'm gonna do all I can to be there.
Absolutely. So we'll see how that goes. But I think that'll wrap up our show right here, the MSAHA Basketball Weekly Show. And Ollie, man, look forward to. We'll talk next week, and next week will be just a preview of the matchups. We'll have all the times, we'll have the matchups, and we'll talk about that and give what we think about that. And we'll be coming up into the final thing, which is the MSAHA playoffs, which we've been waiting all year for.
Yeah, so speaking of playoffs, Trellis, I got you to talk about it last week. Okay, so we have the AFC and NFC championship games matched up, right? We got to spread out. It's a sports show, okay? Put on your journalism hat.
Here, I know, man. My predictions came up super flat. I said
I know.
Cowboys and Bills for Super Bowl. They're both out, man. That was a bad prediction.
That didn't age well. Anyways,
Not at all.
Who you got now? Who's your new prediction?
Okay. All right. Well, so we got Eagles and 49ers. All right. And then you got Chiefs and Bengals. All right. So, okay, what I want to see or what I think is going to happen?
Give me both.
Okay. I think it's going to be Chiefs and 49ers.
Okay.
But what I want to see is the complete opposite, Bengals and Eagles.
Okay. I respect that. I respect that.
Yeah.
What my pick, and I'm serious, it's not just what I want. My pick is Joe Burrow become the Super Bowl champion. I got the Bengals going all the way. What I think is going to happen is I think it's going to be Bengals 49ers, because in my opinion the 49ers are just all around good, man. They're just all around good. So
yeah, they're good.
And so thank you for joining this segment of I get Trellis to talk about football. So
yeah, man. Look,
tune in next week where we talk about the Super Bowl.
Absolutely, man. So I guess we'll see, huh?
Yeah.
All right. All right, folks. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate you, Ollie, for joining us as well.
Hey, man. I'm enjoying it. Got a couple more to go, but I'm gonna savor every moment.
Absolutely, man. For sure, we enjoy having you on the team, and you're still on the team, man. Afterwards, for sure, man.
Always.
Absolutely, for sure. And folks, thank you for joining us. This is the MSAHA Basketball Weekly Show. Join us again next week. Lord willing, we'll be doing the show at 8:30 once again. I think hopefully we'll be able to have another guest there. That'll be announced in due time. But thank you for joining us. This is the MSAHA Basketball Weekly Show on the TSW Network. I'm Trellis Williams. We out.